When she wants to feel closer to her son, Lori Brown looks out the window at the elementary school where she teaches. In the distance, there's a tree planted in his honor.
You know, the tree makes me happy. The tree represents life for me. The tree makes me happy.
Or she visits the high school where there's a memorial to him in the theater department and a bench out front.
And every time I see his name, you know, in memory of Harrison Brown, it really just, you know, like, it makes it real.
And there's his music on videos left behind. 9 months ago, Lori Brown was in her classroom here at Woodland Elementary and had just wrapped up a call with her son, soon to finish his freshman year at UT.
You know, he talked about that he was in Gregory Gym, he'd been lifting weights, and he was finished, and he was headed outside to the food truck to get a bite to eat, and then he was headed to his 2 o'clock class.
About 5 minutes later, her phone rang again. This time, it was a stranger.
I said hello. There was a girl's voice on the end, and she was shaking, and I could tell, and she just, you know, she said, "Are you Harrison's mom?" And I knew immediately, my heart fell to the floor, that this was not going to be a good phone call. And she said that he'd been stabbed.
In that moment, she ran screaming down the hall, and within a few hours, she arrived in Austin to learn her son had been randomly attacked.
I was like, how can this be happening? This can't be happening. Harrison has to be okay. I can't do this.
Then she found out he had not survived. A year and a half earlier, Lori's husband of 30 years started dropping things and slurring his words. He insisted for months that he was fine, but in October 2015, doctors diagnosed him with ALS. They gave Kurt 2 years to live, 5 max. Over the next few months together, Lori Brown did her best to try to keep the family together. There were birthdays, 2 Christmases, Harrison singing carols, preparing for one death, never considering that a random act of violence would bring another. In the first few weeks after Harrison died, Lori handled the funeral arrangements for her son as her husband grew worse with each passing day. On the afternoon of June 5th, just 5 weeks after Harrison died, a hospice nurse told Lori and her son John that it was time.
My husband and I always had this thing where we would hold hands and squeeze, "I love you." And so through the whole thing, I would do that to him, and he would do it back to me. And I could feel his strength getting weaker and weaker and weaker right up until the very end.
Over the past few months, Lori Brown has tried to make it the best she can. She's moved into a new home and has gone back to work. She finds comfort with other mothers in her small town who have a sense of her pain.
There's a handful of people here in Graham that have lost a child, which is pretty shocking. And so it's almost like we're a club, and you know, you don't want to be a part of that club.
Before she could truly begin to feel as though she were inching forward, Lori Brown wanted something back from the police. It was her son's backpack, which had been in police evidence for months. Inside, she found a list of life goals handwritten by her son, she believes, in the days before he died. He wrote that he wanted to make music and help find a cure for the disease that took his father. He ended his list with 2 simple words, "Be happy," a message his mother now tries to live by.
I know they're together. I feel like Kurt and Harrison would want me to move forward and to be happy and live life.
And I'll be better when I'm older, and